Boom! What's going on, faithfuls? Your boy Mike from Nothing But Niners. We are here to overreact. The 49ers just fell to the New York Football Giants, 27-23. Eli Manning led them down the field, a 75-yard drive with 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. He allowed Nick Mullens 53 seconds to try to come back like he did so many times in preseason, but we fell just short. The Giants had some help from a couple of untimely penalties on both sides of the ball from the 49ers, but the Giants emerged victorious nonetheless. We want to thank you guys for checking us out here on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on the notifications as well so you know exactly when we're going live. We appreciate that. Another thing we want you guys to do is check out the website. That is nothingbutniners.com. There you guys are going to find a bunch of excellent articles by a bunch of excellent writers. You'll be led to our social media pages. You can find us on Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are nothing-but-9ERS. You guys can find us on Instagram as well as Facebook, and that's Nothing But Niners. Spelled all the way out, spaces in between, all that good stuff. As of right now, we got my man Nick and we got my man Tony in here. Tony, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
What's up, Mike? What's up, Nick? What's up, Faithful? A little disappointed with the loss. I'm going to share my feelings as we go on through this video, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
All right. Short and sweet. I like that. I mean, it was an entertaining game. Come on now. I mean, I know we blew out the Raiders and, 49er fans love to see that, but this was an entertaining game. This was a good football game between two bad teams. That's what you usually get. When you get two good teams or two bad teams, you get some back and forth, some tit for tat, and it's usually going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes, right? I mean, Nick, were you entertained by the game tonight?
Yeah, I was entertained. I enjoyed watching the game, some stressful moments, but more so stressful because I get aggravated at what our players are doing, or what they're not doing, I should say. But other than that, I mean, it was entertaining. It was what you expected to see out of, two winless type of teams that were playing. You expect to see penalties, which we didn't start seeing until late in the game. You expect to see, miscues. You expect to see, just the reasoning of why we are what we are.
The 49ers, man. I mean, I checked the stats, and it was like, I don't know, 7 minutes into the third quarter, and we had already had 7 penalties. I mean, they were just piling up, and they didn't stop, man. And people were going to sit here and try to point the fingers if this play didn't happen, or if that play didn't happen, or if this guy did that. This was a collective loss on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, the lack of special teams, lack of pass rush. I mean, this game was all the stuff that we got excited about last week. They took it all right back away from us. Tony, I know you've got a beef. You know what, Nick? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make our special announcement. Let's start with something good. Let's start with something good, man. Before we get down and start tearing shit up. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to do that right now, but guys, if you notice what we're wearing, check that out. That is the Dwight Clark play with every jersey number of who was on the field and in their position. And it is the birth of a dynasty. And it is the first
Nick's showing us his crack.
Official NB Niners shirt. So we will be getting those out for pre-order. And if you guys want one, sorry, I didn't mean to show you my crack there. If you guys want one, you can follow us on all of our social media pages. Let us know what you think of them in the comments also as the show goes on. And you can hit us up on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. You can drop us a message from our website, nothingbutniners.com. Yeah, King UFA crack kills. Yeah, no, my bad, guys.
No, we didn't see your crack, man. I just had to throw it in there at you. And yeah, guys, so Nick and I are up in the Northeast. Tony is as well, so it's a little cool out here. So we have the hoodies on. They're available in T-shirts, even sleeveless tank tops if need be. So you guys let us know what it is you're looking for. We'll get you taken care of, man. We hope you guys like it. And then we showed
price for them is going to be $40 plus shipping and handling. People are asking.
Okay. We also have the Mullens Mania shirts.
Yes.
And I did see that someone said that they were interested in that in the previous one also. So you guys, let me see if I can pull that. Do you have that? Do you have the image over there, or do you want me to pull it up here?
It'd probably be easier. I'm watching the chat, so probably
Okay.
easier for you to
Let me
pull
pull
it
up
up.
the image really quick. We do have the Mullens Mania. Kyle Shanahan wouldn't commit to Nick Mullens getting another start after the bye. He wouldn't commit to it, but I'd be hard pressed to think that he thought he was playing worse than C.J. Beathard was, right? I mean, I have some things to say about. I have a couple of things to say about him, but there's no way that I think that he was playing poorly, especially to the point of getting benched. Like he didn't have a bad game. These are the Mullens Mania shirts here, guys. You can see that. There we go. We got the focus up there. Mullens Mania. Legally, I can't tell you what that font is, but you should probably recognize it, brother. See how I threw brother in there? Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, man, look, we're faithful, man. We're not going nowhere. We're gonna be here. We're gonna be holding it down, man. So that's what it's gonna be all day, every day. We have a lot more shirts, designs, and things like that coming to you guys. So make sure you guys stay tuned. All right.
Yeah, this hoodie is actually going to be a one of 3-part set. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for the next 2. I'm not going to tell you what they are going to be, but it's going to be one of a 3-part set. So you can, like Mike said, you can get those in hoodies, T-shirts. I think they look best on black. I do have a white one I can show you on a white T-shirt. As we get going here, I'll turn off my camera and go grab one. But yeah, so I'll post that info in the chat as well for you guys, and then let's get to this game, Mike.
Yeah, so let's get to it. I mean, so the first half we started out really good, guys. I mean, there's always going to be things that you wish you can do better, things you wish you can improve on. Let's try to keep this organized. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball because the offense always gets so much attention. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball here. We noticed a big difference from last week. Last week we had a million pressures, like 8 sacks, 7, 8 sacks, or something crazy like that last week. This week we blitzed one time that I can remember. We had 1 sack all game. Robert Saleh did not seem to dial up any pressures all game long. And the Giants, this is something that we mentioned, Nick in particular mentioned this in the keys to victory, arguably have an offensive line just as bad as what the Raiders had. So why not continue to bring the pressure? You saw the pressure work last week. Why not do it? It's just, oh man, I don't know. Tony, come on, man. I know the defense has a special spot in your heart. So come on, man, give it to me. Break it down.
Mike, I am so mad. Like I don't even know where to start. But I mean, I don't know. He's being very passive in his defense. His motto: all gas, no brakes. It's turning back to all brakes, no gas. It's very simple. It's getting picked apart. People are not lined up. Blown coverage assignments. People lining in the wrong spot, double covered a number 2 instead of playing his on the Beckham pass. I think it was the Beckham pass into the corner of the end zone, the 10-yard, 12-yard pass. I just don't understand. And really set me off was in the fourth quarter when they were making that run, they put Marsh and Smith doubled up on Barkley. And they played the outside leverage with the whole center of the field wide open.
When you say outside, wait, Tony, hold on. For people who may not understand, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. What does outside leverage mean? Tell me in layman's terms what that means.
Meaning they took away the sideline from him. They're playing. He was in the backfield. He ran a wheel route, a Texas route. Actually, it's called a Texas route, where he runs towards the sideline and then angles back and towards the middle of the field. So he made his run towards the sideline, and then once he angled, you saw Smith and then Marsh trailing. Once he made that turn, they were done. No, you're not catching him from behind. We all know he's fast. We all could agree on that. And we all know that they were Marsh was out of position. Why? And if you guys like, we're all diehard fans. We all know that Malcolm Smith plays the middle linebacker, correct? So now if you have your middle linebacker and your defensive end on an outside leverage coverage on a Texas route or an angle route, whatever you want to call it, it's game over. Like, what is the logic behind this? Like, I would love to know what this guy's thinking. And I know Shanahan's going to say, I believe in the system. I believe in this, da-da-da. He's a great coach. But it comes down to, all right, listen, I know you're juggling between schemes because you don't have the right personnel to play the Seattle cover 3 because you don't have speed off the edge. Fine. So he adjusted to a cover 2. He made some man coverages, man calls. But, dude, why would you do this? You're about to lose the game. Eli Manning could stand back there, have a cup of coffee, a donut, and then still throw a touchdown pass and not be touched. You can't give this guy time. I still don't understand why this guy is so passive.
So, okay, so let me ask you a question, Tony. Who are you putting on him?
What do you mean, who am I putting on him?
In that scheme, who are you putting on him?
I would not put a defensive end on him.
But who are you putting on him?
I would bring a safety up. I would not put a defensive end on him.
So you bring a
nobody.
So you bring a safety up, and now you're weak in the secondary.
Or you bracket coverage him.
Well, I'm just asking. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I'm just asking what you would do.
I would bracket him with a middle linebacker and a safety, not a defensive end.
Right.
Versus a guy who runs a 4.3 or 4.4 40. Right,
Nick. This is the same thing we've been complaining about since week 1 with defensive linemen dropping back in coverage. It's the same thing.
This is the first I've seen a defensive end. I've seen defensive tackles going out.
No, you still remember Solomon Thomas was 5 yards, 10 yards
down. Oh yeah, he wasn't playing deep tackle. He wasn't playing inside then. Yeah, he was playing outside.
It just the logic. Their only formation that they get pressures when they go 3 down linemen, Buckner's on the center, and you have Marsh and Watson on the outside. That is their only pressure package that I've seen so far. Okay, that whole drive, Watson wasn't on the field. They didn't go with that package. Why?
Well, because Solomon Thomas is a number 3 overall pick.
Solomon wasn't even on there, though.
Solomon wasn't even on there.
Yeah.
I think they went with Sheldon Day, Blair, Marsh, and Buckner.
Yeah. Solomon wasn't even on there for that drive.
Now, hands down, I don't know. This score they could have had 2 more touchdowns on them, hung up on us, if it wasn't for the play of Fred Warner.
Well,
I think Fred Warner had a phenomenal game.
There's a couple of plays that happened where the score should have been a lot more. We held them to a field goal in the first half, and nobody covered Odell Beckham Jr.
In the slot. That's right.
They did that cluster formation on the left side.
Yeah, he was wide open.
Wide open. They just happened to run the ball. Eli didn't even try to make a read. He was wide open.
Well, Eli checked out of that to a run, which was odd.
Then there was 2 tackles by the Dirt Monster in the first half that saved us from big plays happening. We were lucky the game was as close as it was. We really, really were. But when it's all said and done, the two bad teams battle it out. They get all the way down to the 4th quarter, and the defense is on the field. Eli targets Odell Beckham Jr. down the left sideline. Great coverage by Akello Witherspoon.
And the flag.
Odell Beckham stands up. He points to the ref. He says the magic words, "Pretend Eric Reed's here." Here comes the flag. And the ref walks up. Pass interference, defense number 35. We don't even have it. From that moment on, I knew there was nothing the 49ers could do to win. Because to me, it was the refs and the Giants against the 49ers. And we backed them up 3 different times on that same drive. They would get over the 50, they would get to the 40, and then boom, they're at the 45. Boom, they're at the 50 again. And then holding, number 51. By the way, Go ahead, I'm sorry. No, you got it. Go ahead. You got it.
That holding call on Malcolm Smith was bullshit. They called a holding call. His hand scraped the back of his jersey. Now, Nick, if I were to hold somebody, you're grabbing. Where was the hold? There was no hold. But
He
this
didn't
is
hold, he didn't hold it. It was basically a change of direction.
exactly.
And he
And
basically used him to turn himself around, which you can do.
correct.
He never closed his hand. He never grabbed. He never did any of that. That was a bullshit hold. I think they threw the flag on Akello because of the fact of him not turning his head around.
But listen, on that play, Nick, on that play, if you watch the game, Odell turned his head at the last minute, and he didn't even know where the ball was.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to figure out why they threw the penalty flag because
it's such a misconception.
Wait, hold on, listen. If you go at the play after that to the touchdown, the touchdown throw, well, it wasn't a touchdown, but the throw to the end zone where he had double coverage, neither of the defenders turned their head on Ingram, and both basically tackled him, and there was no penalty.
There's no official rule that you have to turn your head around to play defensive back. You don't have to. It's not.
It's not a rule, but that's just the way you teach your DBs.
No, you don't have to turn your head around to play corner or be a safety in the NFL. That's not a rule. If you don't interfere with that guy, you don't interfere with that guy. I don't care what direction your head is in. That's irrelevant. That is completely irrelevant. And the fact that we see that and say, "Oh, that's why they threw the flag," they need to do something about officiating. And it's not just happening in this game. It happens in every single game where you'll see a DB playing the guy's hands. They see the hands go up, and the DBs do this, and the ball will bounce off of their forearm or something, and then here comes the flag. Just because it's a horrible call, and they do it all the time.
Well, it's because they want you to be playing the ball more than the player.
But if there's no contact. If there's no contact, there's nothing wrong with playing that way. But my question is, that's the way they teach their DBs to do it, correct? Halfley under Saleh's scheme. Why does Richard Sherman turn his head?
Why does he?
Yeah.
Because he's a good DB. He plays the ball.
Then why isn't Akello turning his head?
Because there's no rule to it. You just said it. You guys just both said it. There's no rule to it. But the way to play DB, you've heard Eric say it on the show plenty of times, is you need to turn your head around or you need to play the hands.
Correct. You're 100% right. So now what I'm saying is, if you're trailing, right, you get a jam, he releases, outside release, runs down the field, you're playing the trail technique on him, okay, your hand check on whatever, and you see the receiver turn. I forgot what corner it was, but he said he went off of the receiver's eyes. Once the receiver's eyes got big, he knew that ball was coming. And at that time, he would turn his head and try to make a play.
Right.
Akello does not turn his head.
But there's keys to look for when you turn around.
Hands.
You see the DB's hands go back, you know to look back. When you see the DB's head turn, it's okay for you to turn. So what happens is if you're trailing and this is the wide receiver, this is the DB, and they're both going this way, you can't turn your head randomly, because if he cuts when you turn your head, it's over. You're gone. So you can only do it when you have an indicator that the ball is in the air. That's when you turn around and try to locate the ball. When you get your read, whether it's the hands, the eyes, the head, whatever it is, the shoulders, whatever it is that you're watching, whatever you're keying on, that's when you turn your head around. That play in particular, where they called a penalty on Witherspoon, but said number 35, Beckham didn't even know the ball was in the air. Beckham wasn't playing the ball at all. It was the worst call, and it's such a crucial time in the game. Like, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. There's no.
I agree with you that it was horrible, but I also disagree that I think Akello needs to start learning how to turn his head and playing the ball more, so that he can become a better DB. Because if you look at any DB, their heads turn when they need to turn, and they play the ball. They don't always demand on putting their hands up. Any DB in his league, the DBs that play the ball, turn their head, make a play. Akello never turns his head. I agree with you, Tony.
I don't want you guys thinking I'm saying that he doesn't need to turn his head. I'm just saying that there's no rule against it. You can be a really good DB and not do it. I'm not saying he doesn't need to. If it'll help him locate the ball.
That's what I'm asking you. You said he can be a really good DB by not doing it. Give me one DB that's really good without turning their head. Give me one DB in the NFL.
There's plenty of defensive backs that don't do it, on a regular basis. It depends on where you are and how far behind the player you are.
So then why do they always say
it's a situational tactic?
Like
Okay.
if you get beat off the line, let's just say you get beat off the line, Nick, and he's got the receiver's got like a good like 2-step lead on you, and now you got to get on your horse and go get this guy. Okay, you see him turn. I don't give a shit who you are, Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, anybody, and you're beat. You can't make a play on the ball. You just got to do this.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
It's done because there are times when people get beat.
But he wasn't beat in that situation.
No, he wasn't. That's why I don't understand why they're not teaching these guys to play the eyes and the hands and then turn your head.
There was another play. There was another play where Ward was coming across on Odell, and Akello got burnt. And both of them, instead of going for the ball, there was two guys there that caught up to him, the underthrown pass by Eli, which could have easily been picked if they turned their head to play the ball. But instead, they both just jumped up and went like this.
Yes.
It could have been an easy pick.
That's coaching.
Tony just nailed it.
That's coaching, Nick.
It's how they're teaching them. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That falls
on coaching. Now, Nick, remember when Fangio was here? Our DBs never did that.
Yeah, but our DBs didn't have to because we had a really, really good pass rush.
No, you're right, but still, we had 6 interceptions. These corners will never get an interception playing that way. I don't give a shit who your pass rusher is.
He's right.
They will never get an interception if you don't turn your head. Odell, the one play where Odell tried to pop it with his left hand, okay, that's where Ward came over late again, playing the single high. He came over late. But then the play that you're talking about, okay, what the hell was I just going to say? I forgot it. Oh, my God.
Well,
he caught there was a play where he caught the ball. It was the last play in the fourth quarter. He caught the ball, and then you see Akello turn his head after the flag was thrown. The ball was by him. He didn't catch the ball. The ball was by him, and then he goes like this. And they look back at Odell.
You know what's so funny, Mike? The beginning of the year, what did I say? I was hoping that we did not see. Sophomore slump on Akello Witherspoon.
Oh, you've seen it in full force.
But
I did that, right? I did say that, right?
Yep.
That I was afraid that Akello was going to turn into a Rashard Robinson because of the position that he was put into, and that is literally what is happening right now.
But we got to see. All right, yes. Right? And we're going to beat up
the player towards the way he's being coached. He is in a slump.
Wait.
One way or another.
We're gonna sit here. We're gonna beat up on Akello all night long, right? On the defensive side of the ball. But there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. One, that was Odell Beckham Jr. Let's just keep that in mind here. Number one, Odell knows how to play refs. We saw him request the flag. We saw him that play that Tony was talking about where he went for the one-handed left hand thing, tapped it to his right hand and all that stuff. If you look at his right hand if you look at the right hand while the left hand is up in the air, he's trying to draw a flag with that hand. But Akello wasn't touching that hand. If Akello had to tap that hand just a little bit, they would have thrown a flag on it. Odell is a smart wide receiver. He knows how to play to the flags.
And that's what he did with Richard Sherman when they called that flag.
Yes.
Odell Beckham grabbed Richard Sherman, locked his hands up so he knew he would get the flag. And I'm going to tell you another thing. That fourth quarter play where he just ran downfield and he didn't know where the damn ball was, that was designed.
Mm-hmm.
That was the play. Draw pass interference.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. But that's my point. And they know that his superstar is enough to get that call. You got a 50-50 shot. You actually have a 66% shot of success. It's incomplete, I catch it, or I get the flag. There's those 3 things that are going to happen on that play, and it's a shot down the field. So that's what's going to happen. And so we're killing Akello Witherspoon right now for how he played on not any other receiver on the field, specifically on Odell Beckham Jr. But for the last 4 games, Akello has been playing lights out. We're going to sit here and roast him. So I'm not. You did, Nick. You said in the beginning of the season, I hope he's not another Rashard Robinson. And in my book, he has been significantly better than what Rashard Robinson was in his second year. This game, fine. You can give it to him. You can say he had a bad game. I think there were some unjust calls on him in this game, but he's nowhere near as bad is what people think. Even when they were benching him after the first 3 weeks, I don't think he was that bad. But I'm not out.
He is in the sophomore. He did his sophomore season started slow in a slump. He came back solid a couple games. But the thing that's really scaring me, Mike, is last week versus the Raiders, there was zero speed on that field as far as a wide receiver. So now, is the defense's success because of the lack of speed from Oakland? Or did they step their game up? We don't know.
No. The secondary was good because of the pass rush. Because that's how this system works.
Yeah.
If there's no pass rush, this system doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right, so
you could have Aqib Talib, and I won't even say Aqib Talib. We can say Darrelle Revis in his prime, and yeah, let's go Aqib Talib in his prime. You could have those two on the field, and if you don't have a pass rush, they're going to get beat too in this scheme because there's so many soft openings, and there's so many ways of getting open in this scheme. And right now, I'm trying hard not to blame it on Saleh because of talent, but I can't anymore. Like, there's certain things that Saleh doesn't do right, whether it's the scheme or the way he's coaching the scheme, meaning I don't want to say coaching, play calling at crucial times of what you're supposed to call. Like, all right, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say there's two things a coach can do. You can implement your scheme and demand that players play your scheme no matter what. Or you can take your scheme and form it around the talent that you have. Robert Saleh doesn't seem to be able to do the second part. There has been no pass rush here all year long, except that one game last week. That's the only game. And the results that we get are the same. And we beat up the players. We get mad at the players and all that stuff. And Nick, this goes back to what I was telling you. Remember when you and I were arguing like week 3 or 4? And I'm like, no, bro. All right, enough. We can't keep blaming the players. When the players keep doing it, the coaches need to do something different. And then finally you came around on it. We're right back to where we were, man. It's at a certain point, it's coaching. And you're right. I understand why you don't want to blame him because he doesn't have the pieces to make his defense successful. But in the meantime, you got to do something else. He didn't manufacture any kind of pressure packages this week. He didn't do it.
And that's why I'm saying, that's why I can't put it all on coaching, because he is changing. Like, he is changing his scheme to the players that he has, because we go from what we had in the beginning to injuries to more injuries. Now Ward's playing. Now Exum's playing. You know, Tart's not playing. You know, there's differences in those players, and he's starting to change it up to cover 2, cover 3. You know, man, he's changing it up instead of just going that straight zone. He's playing 2 high, 1 high. So he is coaching. It's just, I think that what bothers me the most is the way that he calls a game in crucial situations. I agree with Tony, as I don't agree that Cassius Marsh or Malcolm Smith should be on Saquon Barkley. I don't believe a defensive end should be covering. Maybe he did that for help with Malcolm because he knew Malcolm was getting beat. Malcolm was getting beat on that drive. 2 plays, he got destroyed. So maybe he had Cassius drop out and help him. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the coach. I don't really know. So, but I can't. I think that the play calling in crucial situations or the timing on the field is wrong, and I blame that on coaching. But I also see lack of execution on our player side, and I don't know why people just keep. Dude, we have no talent on this defensive side of the ball. There's really none. Okay, Akello's a second-year guy. They're young. Antoine Exum.
You don't think there's talent? Oh, okay. You know what? Never mind. I mean, we're down to our 3rd and 4th string guys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's really no. I mean, we're a pass rusher away from helping our secondary. I mean, I don't care, dude. If you look at our secondary when we were winning, it was all because of our front. We have no front. We have DeForest Buckner right now. Ronald Blair's been playing well. Earl Mitchell played a good game today. But other than that, I mean, if you can't get a sack on a piss-poor Giants offensive line, you get one sack in a game. Dude, I was calling for like 6 sacks this game. We should have had at least 6 sacks. But go ahead, Tony.
No, I'm just listening. My back's just tightening up. I'm just.
Oh, I
listening.
thought I kept seeing you waving the pin. I thought you like were
No.
the pin. I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just Malcolm Smith is dookie. Antoine Exum blew a lot of coverages tonight. I think that's how you say his name, Antoine, or is it Antone?
Anton Exum.
Okay, Antone. Okay. Then you have Ward has been playing, dude. Ward has been balling. I can't even take anything away from Ward.
Ward was out of position a couple of times tonight. He was out of position a couple of times, especially down in like the red zone. I don't know why he.
Well, he was out on that double when the first touchdown to Odell because it was supposed to be too high. He was definitely out. He was out of position. That's the one where Exum and Akello were like, "Yo, what the hell's going on? Like, that's not where you're supposed to be." He was looking for the help over the top, so he didn't go fully with him because he knew that he had help over the top. But you see corners do. You see them do that in games. They know the defensive scheme. They know when they have help over the top. They know when they don't. But I mean, man, I know that I shouldn't be so aggravated because we're not that good of a football team. We are, we're a few players away, mainly pass rush. But I really think, I don't know.
I mean, look, the Giants average 18.8 points a game. They got 27 on us with the help of the refs. I mean, the Niners came out and did what you would expect them to do, especially with all the injuries that we have on the defensive side of the ball. I know we're beating them up, and I am the jury. For me, the jury's out on Robert Saleh. It like Nick was saying, you want to sit here and be like, look, he doesn't have the guys that he needs. I think all three of us agree with that. All three of us agree he doesn't have the guys he needs to execute his scheme.
But you also have to be a coach, and you have to overcome that.
Correct.
So, right. I mean, I agree with you on that.
And see, this is what will end up happening. Let's fast forward to the end of the season, right? The Niners finish the season with 3 wins. We're picking first or second. We get the pass rusher that we want, but we fire Robert Saleh. And then the next guy comes in, and all of a sudden we look decent on defense, and it's like, I wonder if Saleh could have done it if he had the pass rushers. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, it's an up and down thing. I mean, because you could probably give Robert Saleh the same defense that Vic Fangio had, and he'd probably be successful. I mean, it's just, talent has a lot to do with it.
There's a couple of guys we need to get rid of, and Malcolm Smith and the guy that Solomon Thomas. There's some guys that we need to get rid of. Go ahead. That's a real finger there.
That's a real finger. All right, I have a question. I'm being dead serious. Why is it game in and game out? Okay, and I've been saying this since week 1, 2, 3, all the way up till now. Why is it every game this team plays well the first, second, going into the third quarter, but they fall apart in the fourth? Clearly, on my side, me evaluating watching these games as a fan, and never mind from like a coaching background, Saleh has been outcoached every game this season. Every game this season except for one, and that was versus the Raiders. And I don't care what anybody says, we should have won this game today. This was a very winnable game. There's no doubt about it. We should have won this game, but we didn't finish on defense. Every game we fall apart in the fourth quarter. Why?
I think that's on both the player and the coaches.
But how do you
our players really look lackadaisical in the fourth quarters?
But why though? What is it? Is it they're not prepared enough to I don't know. They're doing it in the first half. They're doing it halfway through the third quarter, and then something just happens. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Saleh tries to get an extra. First of all, Kiffin with these stunts. I saw guys run into each other twice today on a stunt. like bang into each other. Enough with these stunts. You want to run one stunt here and there. These guys, that's the only way they get pressures from stunts.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm not against stunts though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't be mad at them for trying the stunt because
no, they're depending on it, Mike. That's the only way this team generates it.
You look at Vic Fangio's team; they did stunts all over the place.
Yeah, Alden Smith and Justin Smith, that was their bread and butter.
Stunts every single play. So it's not the stunts; it's the lack of execution.
No. But here's the thing: they can't. Yeah, Nick is right. They can't execute it. But the other thing is, Tony's saying like they're depending on it. It's either that or leave the secondary thin. And when you have Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram out there, you can't leave the secondary but so thin. So we saw the high pressure packages last week against the Raiders. We're not questioning why we didn't see the high pressure packages this week. The difference is somebody said it. One of y'all said something about the speed.
Tony said that.
I said it. The speed compared to Oakland to now is night and day.
Right, but there was no speed on that Raiders team. So you can leave the secondary thin and you can blitz. And we brought pressure all day against Oakland. But you do that against Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram.
You're torched.
Exactly. So
that's why you don't blitz it late in the fourth right there.
Right.
Well, if you blitz Eli Manning, he's gonna eat zone up because he's gonna put the ball out fast.
You got to send one more. You got to send one guy. I don't care. Because look what happens. If you only rush 4, he went right down the field on us. Granted, he had some assistance from the refs, but he went right. You can't leave Eli Manning. We saw it time in and time out what he did to us in the past.
But how many of those plays, let me ask you this, Mike and Tony, how many of those plays that he went right down on the field was because of poor execution, bad play calling, or just this scheme of zone being open?
There was times where it was good play calling on their part. Like, so for example, as soon as Williams got hurt, right, and they had to put Reed in. And as soon as they did that, what'd they do? Sterling Shepard, I had on my fantasy team. He finally gets a catch and scored a touchdown. Like, don't get me wrong, but I noticed it when Williams went out and they put Reed in, boom, right away. They went right to Sterling Shepard. Like they took advantage of the matchups that they had. They tested Richard Sherman out. They moved Odell Beckham over to Richard Sherman's side to see how he was going to cover him. They drew the flag. They sent his ass back over to Akello. They drew some more flags. They did things the right way. But this is what I wanted to say about the whole pressure thing that y'all were talking about. I agree with Tony where at a certain point you got to blitz. Like when we had them backed up and the game was on the line, it was 3rd and 20 something, and we didn't bring any pressure. We didn't bring any pressure. Like, and that's when you end up getting the 5-yard penalty for the holding.
We were blitzing, and then they called a timeout, and then came back and changed the play design, and then we went to the right coverage.
We played into their hands, man. Like we let them dictate to us what plays we were going to call.
Look, I mean, I know a lot of people are calling for Saleh, man, and I want to be one of those people. I want to be able to say, you know what, get rid of him, fire him, but it doesn't help us right now. It's not going to help this team. It's not going to, guys are just finally getting into the second season. How many of them are on their second season? Probably 4 on the entire defense.
Well, let me ask you a question.
There's more than
that. Do you count this as Malcolm Smith's first or second season?
This is Malcolm Smith's first year.
I really don't like that dude, man.
See, but don't you guys find something wrong that it's the second season and there's still miscommunications?
No.
Doesn't that raise like a flag to you that something's not right?
Yeah, we got a bunch of dumbass players.
No, come on, guys. I know we're supposed to be overreacting here, but come on. Continuity is a thing on offense and defense. These guys are being shuffled, and every play, there's 4 new guys out on the field.
That's what I've been saying the entire time was people are putting the blame on Saleh, but he has 3rd and 4th string guys playing in these positions, and we're beating up the defensive coordinator when these guys are probably, dude. Powell came in last week and played. What'd we do? We fucking waived Powell this week and put Exum in.
Right. That's
When
what I'm
Pat
saying.
played in the scheme well last week, we waive him, then we bring Exum in. Now is he not only working with a new safety in the box, now he's working with Ward over the top. He's got players all over the place.
Yeah, but don't forget, Nick, Exum had a pick six. He played, he produced, he showed in this scheme when Tart was out.
Come on, that was one play. I mean, there's a reason that they let him go before also, or didn't bring him up. Like, I'm just saying, like, if we see, all right, we talked about Fangio, so I'm going to use Fangio as an example. Fangio was one of the least substituting defensive coordinators I have ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do it a lot. This system is probably the most I've ever seen. Our defensive linemen shuffle in and out so much at such a high rate that I don't even watch anymore until the replay comes on of the previous play. I can't tell you who's lining up until I see the replay. I'm looking for,
like, not to cut you off, it's not even just switching players out. It's switching players out plus positions.
Right.
Because I seen Solomon Thomas on the inside tonight. I seen him on the outside. I seen Eric Armstead on the inside. I seen Eric Armstead on the outside.
Buckner
on both. Like, how do you get any continuity or play? And I said this in our keys to victory. I felt our defensive line was going to be better because they felt like they were gelling. They knew who was going up top, who was going down low, things like that. But then tonight was a whole clusterfuck of the way we were switching players around.
And how normal is that, Tony? You help me out, because like I said, when it was Vic Fangio, this is what we had on the offensive line, right? We had Ray McDonald, we had Ian Williams, we had Justin Smith, we had Alden Smith, we had Bowman, we had Willis, and then we had whoever was playing on the opposite side.
Ahmad Brooks.
Ahmad Brooks. Yeah, we had Ahmad Brooks. Like, we knew everybody every snap except for, a very specific rare package. With this team, it's so fucking random all the time. Is that normal?
It's not. Fangio, this is my opinion. Fangio only stunted when they were in nickel, when they went with 4 down linemen. He didn't do no stunts when they were in the base 3-4.
Yeah, but how much did we play 4 down linemen in that defense? A ton.
Whenever they went 3 or 4 wide.
A ton, though.
Correct. No, you're right. But the difference between Fangio and this guy, Kiffin's stunts, is it was one side or the other. It was either McDonald and Brooks on a stunt, or it was Justin Smith and Alden Smith on a stunt. If you watched tonight's game and last week's game, you have both sides stunting. All right? If you have any type of solid interior lineman, that is not going anywhere. The only way you'll get it is if it loops on the outside and the tackle doesn't pick them up. Because what they're doing is, it's called a tight end stunt, a TE stunt. The tackle shoots out, and then Alden Smith loops around the inside. But the reason why it works so damn good is because Justin Smith used to grab the guard and take him with him. Now you have an opening, and Alden Smith would just come right around. But that was the Cowboy. He was a freaking freak of nature. He was strong as shit. He got away with it. What these guys are doing, they're all over the place doing these things. And what's happening is these teams are catching them, and it's leaving gaps. It's leaving huge throwing lanes for the quarterback to step up and make a throw or run, like we saw Rodgers do in Green Bay, right? Now, how many times I know it, because I always said, I think I said it to you, Mike, a couple times in text. They run a formation on defense where they're in a nickel front, so they got 4 down linemen, and they leave the whole center of the defense open. So the center is wide open. The 2 first tackles are on the outside shoulders of the guard. So right off the bat, you have a gap in the center, and there's only one middle linebacker. And then they run their stunts, right? So now if the linebacker's responsibility is probably either tight end, or if it's man, tight end or the tailback, or if it's zone, it's
the A gap.
I'm talking coverage.
Oh, coverage.
If it's zone, they have the deep third. They have the deep middle, or hook to flat, or hook to deep. So if they run these stunts, and let's say they wash everybody out because the stunt doesn't work, now you have the middle linebacker dropping back, right? 5 yards into a drop to cover the middle, the hook route. That quarterback now has a nice 10-yard gain if he's smart. He could blow right through the center of that defense. That's why I don't understand this guy's scheme. I don't know if it's this system in particular, but I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. Not only do we not have the personnel.
But, Tony, let me ask you this. Were you a fan of Seattle when they had their defense that way?
Nick, you can't compare that.
But no, you can, because it comes down to players. It comes down to players and execution.
You're 100% right. How many All-Pros did they have in that defense?
But they weren't All-Pros in the beginning. They were drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds.
Yeah, but don't forget, this is Pete Carroll's defense.
Yes, but they have players.
No, I understand. I know they have players. I understand that. But the teaching and the knowledge of Saleh compared to Pete Carroll is clearly on a different level. Something is not clicking. Something's not meshing.
So I'm sure he knows it. I'm telling you, I don't think it's just everybody's trying to put all the blame on Saleh. I'm not saying that none of this is his fault. I'm not saying any of that.
Okay.
I think there are parts that are his fault. But I think the major part of this whole process is the players and lack of execution that we have and the players that we're playing with right now, because everybody is getting switched around and nobody can fucking gel. Nobody. I don't care if I've been playing next to you for 3 years, we're going to be a good tandem, right? Because we're going to know each other.
Of course.
When I can't even play with the person next to me for one fucking solid game, how are we supposed to get better as a unit? Because
the front line has played with each other. They're just playing different positions. We have the same front four as we did day one. Sheldon Day, Eric Armstead, Thomas, Buckner. Then they sprinkled in Blair. They sprinkled in Marsh. But our base has been the same. Has it not? Solomon Thomas is the Leo, which he does not belong. My opinion, if Saleh stays, they take Buckner, they put him outside as the big end. They put Solomon Thomas as the 3, and they get a big guy, either DJ Reed or they keep Mitchell. No, DJ Jones. They keep DJ Jones as the 1, or they keep Mitchell as the 1. And then you get an elite speed pass rusher as the Leo.
But you're saying that the 4 base down linemen have been the same, right?
Yes.
Which they have. They are the 4 guys that are on the field. But guess what? They're always in a different fucking position.
Not in base defense, no.
Solomon's not always outside. They move Solomon inside, put Buckner outside.
That's their nickel. They rotate their nickel for some reason. If they go big nickel, he goes outside. If they go pass rush nickel, Solomon Thomas is not even on the field.
Okay.
If they do, I don't know what they call it, a nickel or a dime. If they do a dime defense, it's Buckner on the nose with the 2 speed guys on the edge. If they do a big nickel where they bring a safety down in the box and they play with Warner, like they did with Tart a couple times before he got hurt, you'll see maybe Buckner go outside and then what's his name steps into the middle. Sheldon Day. Thomas does not belong on the outside of his defense.
Let me ask you both a question, Mike, and then I guess we'll jump off of defense and go to offense. But defensively, if we had everybody, let's say we had everybody healthy. So that's Reuben Foster, that's Jaquiski Tart, that's Adrian Colbert, Jimmy Ward, all of our linemen. Do you think that our team would not have caught up to the learning process and would still be playing the same right now as they would be with a completely healthy team from day one?
I think that I can answer this quickly, and then I'll let Tony. I think that the team would still be struggling, and it would look very similar. I think we'd still be losing close games because we still wouldn't have that edge rusher. The edge rusher, I know it sounds stupid. Edge rusher is what's going to make this defense work.
I totally agree with you. It's not stupid.
Just consistent pressure. We can't get consistent pressure. It's going to be the same results. A team is just going to find out how to pick us apart as the game goes on. That's what we're seeing here. That's exactly what we're seeing. Teams are adjusting. They're figuring out what's good and what's bad. They adjust and they attack, and that's it. And there's only so many options that Saleh has as a counter move. So that's what's going to happen. If everybody was healthy from the very beginning, everybody was healthy and they were still here, we still don't have the personnel to execute this defense properly. That's the bottom line. That's my opinion.
I agree. I think they would be in the same spot. Because even if they're 100% healthy, the players that we need are still not there. And I'll tell you what, not only do we need a Leo, but we need a Sam linebacker. Because Nzachua can't set the edge. Malcolm Smith is way too small. He's a Will or a Mike.
I can't get a feel for Elijah Lee either. What is he doing?
Nothing.
He's not playing because they're putting Malcolm Smith in.
He played a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I saw him out there a couple of times, but I
saw him on special teams, but
yeah, I saw him on thing. But look, man, the anticipation of seeing what happens to Saleh is going to continue to go on for the entire year, and
it's going to be bad no matter what.
Yeah,
because if we get the pass rusher and he's gone, we're going to be successful. And honestly, I think that with a pass rusher, let me ask you guys this question here, and then this will let me know what I want for Robert Saleh going forward in the next year. If we had a pass rusher and somebody who could get pressure, or we can come up with packages to get pressure on the quarterback consistently, do you guys think we'd get more turnovers with the way our DBs play?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because a pass rush makes that big of a difference.
Does it? Because we weren't close to getting any turnovers last week, and we had pass rush like crazy. Like we were saying in the very beginning of this, those guys never turn their heads around. Richard Sherman is the only one that does it, and that's because we agree that's how they're taught. We all said this. So if no one's turning their heads around, even with a pass rush, where are the interceptions going to come from?
Okay, I thought you just said turnovers.
Well, I mean, even still, so you can rely on strip sacks, but I mean, other than that, the secondary is never going to get turnovers in this system, right? With the way they're being taught currently.
The free safety would be the guy that will get the increased interceptions. I don't think the corners will. I don't. If you have a good free safety, let's just say they added Earl Thomas. Let's just say for shits and giggles they added Earl Thomas and they added a pass rusher. He's the player that will get it because he knows this defense like the back of his hand. He has the range to cover both sides of the field. That's my opinion. But let me ask you guys one question. Out of that whole secondary, besides Richard Sherman, do you think any of those guys are comfortable playing in this scheme? That shows on film?
I think Williams is comfortable playing in the slot. Not that he can't improve, but I think he's comfortable in the slot. I think
just Williams.
I think Jimmy Ward is comfortable at safety, and I think Williams is comfortable in the slot. I think Akello Witherspoon is overthinking because he has no idea what the coaches want from him on a week in and week out basis. I think if they committed to whatever for Akello, I think he's intelligent enough to make the right adjustments, and then he would be comfortable. But it seems like every week they want something different from him. So I don't know.
I just don't understand it. I mean, you can go back and watch Akello's tape in college, and he didn't really turn around and look for the ball. So, I mean, he's smart enough to learn. He's got a great teacher there who knows the system in and out. And I'm sure that he's being taught how to do it, and he's just not doing it.
But this isn't, God damn it. Like, I want to get off of the defense so bad, but this defense isn't giving anybody the opportunity to master one thing well. Like,
right, but that's because of injuries. That's not because of any other reason. What other reason is it?
Akello's been healthy all year. Like, put someone in a position, and if you can leave them there, let them play that position and let them learn it and master it. They move these guys. They want everybody to be interchangeable everywhere, and that's just not reality.
No, they don't want everybody to be. I mean, Richard Sherman doesn't go anywhere else. Akello doesn't go anywhere else. Ward only does that because he's available to play safety and corner.
They're drafting guys who have been only safeties and purposely moving them to corners. They're drafting corners and moving them to safeties. Like they're literally doing that. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Bro, Ryan Tannehill was drafted as a wide receiver and he's a fucking quarterback. We see how that worked out. But I mean, it's just. I mean, you said Akello's been playing all year. Has he grown?
I feel like
I think he played better last year than he did as all year this year.
I don't know, man. Those last 4 games, Akello was like lights out, man. He really was. He had a really good stretch of these last couple of games. Even better, in my opinion, than what we saw from him last year. I think last year we were so surprised that he was playing well that we attributed him to being more successful than what he really was. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. I do want to. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about as far as Robert Saleh or the defense or anything like that? I feel like we need to see what Peter Tamalpino is doing. Why? What is going on with that guy, man? And I'm not even looking for Julian Taylor anymore. I've accepted that he's only on the 53, so that way he wasn't able to be claimed by someone else. I've accepted that he's not playing this year. But I want to know what's going on with Peter. Like they couldn't have been worried about anyone claiming him. So what's going on with him? Where's the help at for the edge? Let's just try some things now. You know, it was cool to see Watson and Buckner combined for a sack today. Watson's consistent, but we got to see.
I've seen this comment. I got to ask you this question. This comment says, "Man, we sure miss Elvis Doomerville. LOL." Mike, do you miss Elvis Doomerville?
No.
No.
I really don't, man.
Why would you not?
Why would I? Elvis Doomerville came in on 2 or 3 plays, got some pressure, and then that was it.
And led the team with sacks.
With 6.5. Buckner's already there.
Buckner's not there yet.
Okay.
He's got 4.5 sacks.
He's already there, bro. He's gonna pass 6.5.
Or no, he might have 5.5 now.
He got a half today.
Yeah, so he's got 5.
6.5. I don't miss 6.5 sacks. Fuck out of here. Give me somebody who can play on the field regularly, not some old man who's got to ice his knees in between plays.
Wow, you wanted fucking dookie ass Alfred Morris.
Okay, yeah, that's got something to do with.
You said old and bum ass knees. He's old.
You specifically asked me about a player. Now you're talking about someone else.
All right, let's move to offense. Oh, I brought that T-shirt out too. So
I like it on the white too, man. Oh, sorry, I'm talking. Let me put the camera back on you.
You're good. So this is it on the white T-shirt. Can you see that? Because I can't see the camera.
Yeah.
Lower it a little bit, right there. Yeah, it's good. I like it on the T-shirt, man.
And then
there you go. With the gold outline. I love it, man. I love it. It's good shit. So guys, we got to talk about the offense. We have left the offense alone. I know, first of all, I'm happy with the offensive output. So I want to set the tone now. I am not upset about the offensive output. There are some things that I want us to do better, but I have very, very general complaints about the offense. Nothing in particular about a specific player. So you guys get this whole thing started, and then I'll come in. Your guys' thoughts on, all right, day 2 of the Nick Mullens experiment. What were you guys' thoughts?
I mean, I was personally happy with him. I thought he did some really good things. I thought, yeah, he made a couple mistakes here and there, but I mean, Jesus, the kid just came up from a practice squad. Like, I was arguing with somebody on Twitter tonight, and they were like, "Oh, he missed that throw, or he missed that throw." Like, yeah, no shit, dude. All NFL quarterbacks miss throws. Like, nobody's perfect. You're not going to come out here. You're not going to throw the ball 25 for 25 and have a 1,000 percentage. Like, I think for him being young and learning in the game, I think he's progressing really well. He didn't take any regressions. He didn't take a sack. You know what I mean? He got rid of the football still. Yeah, some of his throws were errant, or some of them were, behind receivers or not fast enough. But overall, I see progression with him. He threw 2 interceptions. Maybe those 2 interceptions were because he threw the ball a little late. But I mean,
they were off of other people's hands. They were both hit, and they both could have been caught.
Right. They both. I was going to say that, but I know how you get when I say, "Oh, well, the receiver touched the ball." So I don't want to get into that whole argument. But 2 of those passes could have been caught. The Marquise Goodwin one, you hear what the announcers say, and then when I go back and watch the play, I think the same thing, because Marquise Goodwin, he thought Marquise Goodwin was going to come back because he made 2 moves. He was running, then he cut back, and then he turned and went back the other way. And then the ball was thrown like as he was going back the other way. So it was thrown behind him. Totally on the quarterback. He's got to get rid of the football. And I'm not big with putting things on quarterbacks, but there were mistakes that he made tonight. But they didn't cost us the game. His play didn't cost us the game tonight. His play kept us in the game. Even the last drive when he hit Marquise Goodwin has to go down there. Not only did he not go down, he tried to get extra yards, but then the defender was laying on top of him and took another 7 seconds off the clock that Marquise couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage so we could get the play off again to get more time. But overall, I think Nick Mullens still deserves another chance. I still think in these 2 games, he's played better than CJ's played the entire time that he's been playing this year. Guys, we have to look for mistakes. Like, he didn't make mistakes that would cost us the game. The interceptions, yes. Interceptions are always a problem when you turn the football over. But they weren't always at points of the game where it cost us the game. Because I don't even think they scored on either of those drives. They got field goal, right? They didn't score a touchdown, though. And they had good field position, so the defense, because it's within 3 quarters, they actually stop them, But I think Mullens did well. That's my overall impression on him. I still am excited to see Nick Mullens. Make sure you get your Mullens Mania T-shirt from us, But I am excited to see Mullens, and I hope that he definitely gets another play, because we did not lose this game because of him. If anything, we were in better position to win with him.
Hey, Nick, is there a penalty for doing that? Could they throw a flag by holding the guy down in a situation?
Could. Yeah, they could. It's delay of game.
Yes.
That is delay of game. All right.
Yeah. Which the ref was standing right over him and didn't say anything.
That's why I asked, because I'm surprised, because he was blatantly on top of him.
Bro, once they threw the penalty on 35, the refs weren't on our side. It was over from that point on. The refs weren't giving us any more calls. And
then when they threw that holding call at the end of the game, which is a pure slap in the face.
Yeah. Just in case you guys scored on that play, we had to make sure. Oh, you didn't score? Okay, well, we'll call holding, but we got to go. That's it. Just in case we were successful.
That was a straight dick move, but all right.
So what were your thoughts on the on Nick Mullens, Tony?
I thought he played a good game. I mean, listen, he faced a better defense, a better talent on defense. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Nick. Well, in college he might have faced a 3-4, but this is his first time playing in a pro versus a 3-4. Overall, I thought he had 2 interceptions. One of them was a bad throw. I don't know if it was an error more on the receiver, the comeback route on Bourne, or it was just a poor throw. The second one was Goodwin should have had it, in my opinion, and then it was just batted up in the air. And B.J. Goodson got 2 gifts for tonight. Guys that I thought played well, I thought Kendrick Bourne had a solid game, except for the one pass where he went back towards the line of scrimmage like somebody else does. Stephen Morris. What's his name? I'm losing it, but I'm tired as hell.
I don't know any Stevens on the team, bro. So I don't know.
I'm thinking of the quarterback from Miami, University of Miami. Alfred Morris clearly lost a step. I I don't know what the hell happened to him, or he proved when he was with Dallas behind that offensive line, made him look a lot better than what he really was.
Yeah, but we actually have a better. Maybe not that year we didn't, but we actually have a really good offensive line this year.
We do, and that's my next point. I think the offensive line had one hell of a game. I think this offensive line is turning into a strength, and the sad part about it
had like 4 penalties today.
Well,
Never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I don't care. You can cut me off. But I mean, like overall as a unit, they're playing. They're solid. And the sad thing is, person might not even be the starter next year at left guard. Well, no, right guard. Right guard. I think Juszczyk had a huge game, not numbers wise, but blocking, run blocking, pass blocking. I think Nick answered me back in the chat. The blitz pickup he had, which probably saved Mullens' life. And I mean, one big negative, I'm confused with Pettis. We have 2 slot guys. Why is Pettis lining up in the slot?
Because he was the most athletic person that should be playing slot.
I would argue that Richie James is more athletic than.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a joke?
No, I'm just going off what you guys all said in the beginning of the year about being on Dante Pettis's catnip and wanting him to play the slot over Trent Taylor.
I don't know whoever said that, but
I didn't say that. No. He's an outside guy.
Yeah, I don't know whoever said anything about Pettis playing in the slot. I mean, I do remember seeing it on Twitter where people were like, "Oh, he can play the slot. He can play the slot," but I don't know anyone. You said you guys.
One question: did you guys see that Trent Taylor made it on the field today?
I did see him at the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, he made one. He made
last drive
on our last drive.
The last drive he made a catch.
Pettis doesn't impress me. I don't understand why. I called for Richie James to have a big game this game, and he didn't even play as a receiver. Why?
I don't know. No one knows. No one knows the logic. No one knows what goes through that guy's head. No one does.
Remember we were having this conversation about how the defensive players are shuffled in and out and moved all around and everything?
It falls on the receivers too.
It's happening on the offensive side of the ball as well. It really, really is. It's just what they do. I can't justify why you have Trent Taylor active, Richie James active, and you have Dante Pettis in, like Nick said, in the slot. At that point, Dante Pettis is the second tallest wide receiver we have on the team. He might be the tallest.
Well, Mike,
and he's afraid of contact across the middle. So why are you putting him in the slot?
I was just gonna say that. Like, is it just me that thinks he's afraid of contact,
bro?
Like, he literally just goes down. He runs backwards and tries to go forward and then just slides down. Like, you see no separation. You see no speed burst from him. You see nothing coming out of the slot. Like, I'm so confused as to why he's on this field. Like, I've never been a big Dante Pettis fan. I like Richie James because I did an interview with him. I thought he was cool as shit. And I fell in love with him from there. But I'd like to see him on the field more. But even these two, I was saying earlier, even these two as kick returners or punt returners are doing nothing. These guys broke all kinds of records in college for kickoff returns and punt returns. And every single thing that Richie takes, either he's muffing it, like he muffed one in the end zone the other day. Was that today? Or I think it was today. Or no, it was against Oakland. He muffed one in the corner of the end zone, and it went out of bounds. Or everything else is a fair catch. Everything. Like, even if the player's not even within 20 yards of him, it's a fair catch. Like, it just doesn't – we have no special teams, which I thought was going to be a highlight of our season this year. But I just don't understand why – I'm so fed up with Dante Pettis. So fed up with Dante Pettis. Him and cat balls.
I just want to address something as far as the rotating of the receivers playing different positions. How it's actually working on offense, but it's failing on defense. There was one play where they came out. I think Mullens was under center. Juszczyk was the single back behind them. And I caught it at the last minute. They had Marquise Goodwin as an inline tight end in a three-point stance on the left side of the formation. And then he put Breida as the one man in a bunch on the right side.
That was the big play.
Yeah, and he ran Goodwin on like a shallow cross, and then Breida came out under him and just went directly across the field, across the hashes, and that was the touchdown pass.
Yeah, it was great play call.
Great. It's matchups. You're putting people against people, because by doing that, that forced Ogletree to cover Breida because they were obviously in man, one-on-one. So right then and there, Shanahan saw that, I guess, that they were playing man, so he moved that. That is Kyle's strength. This is what Saleh is trying to do, not to bring the defense up, but it's not working. He's trying to play a matchup game, and it just doesn't work. I don't know why, but whatever. But it works on the offense. So that's why I don't have a problem. And if you notice, like, you would see they would run 2-by-1, where there would be two receivers on the left with one on the right. They would motion one, which would be Pettis. And there were some plays where it looked like he was in the slot, but he really wasn't the slot receiver, because Goodwin would be the inside guy on the 2 side, and then he motioned behind Goodwin and went up on the line. So then it went to trips with the tight end on the right side.
Right.
So just because he was the number 2 man in doesn't technically, mean he is a slot receiver. It's just Kyle's moving the defense to get a matchup he wants on the other side, I'm guessing. But I mean, that's something like, I would do if I was the coordinator, to try to move, and instead of coverage on a corner, now you get a safety, or now you get the outside linebacker. But that's the only logic I could see with him playing in or near the slot as far as Pettis.
I have a question for you two, and it's about Nick Mullens. So I was arguing with somebody on Twitter about this as well, but West Coast says Mullens has no arm. He's extremely limited.
Not true.
Do you guys think that he has no arm?
That's not true. He overthrew Bourne.
When he threw that deep ball, it had velocity. It was
tight.
A tight pass. He just threw it to the wrong receiver. No. Meaning not the wrong read receiver, but Bourne just doesn't have that speed to get up to that. Like if
that should have been like a Goodwin or a Pettis.
Yeah, like if that was a Goodwin, that's a touchdown.
And he actually overthrew Bourne.
Yeah, I was going to say I think Mullens has actually. I think he has a lot of clubs in his bag. He can do touch. He can put zip on it. He can put air under it. And I think that we see him do so much that it kind of looks like he's just fluttering stuff out there. And I think he's doing a lot of it by design. He's doing it well. Like we see some of the passes that go. Even he had that pass to Marquise Goodwin, and that last pass to Marquise Goodwin, and Marquise Goodwin was in triple covered. There was 2 guys behind him. There was a corner in front of him, and it looked like the ball was kind of fluttering, but he had to drop it in over the corner, but still get it to him in front of the safeties. And people were like, if you look at that play, it looks like the ball's fluttering. If you guys turn on ESPN or NFL Network, you'll see the replay within 5 minutes. His last pass to Marquise Goodwin, where the guy laid on him. And if you're looking at that play, you're going to say, look at how that ball had no zip on it. You can't put velocity on that kind of pass, because then it's going to be too low, and the corner that's ahead of him is going to get it. You can't put too much air under it, because the 2 safeties that are behind him are going to kill him. So he had to like teardrop it in there, and it looks like it's an ugly pass, but it's perfect. It was a perfect throw to him. It's just it was how he had to put it in there.
Because there were some plays across the middle where he bulleted that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and really velocity, like hit it with a lot of velocity.
What about the pass on where he was on the outside hash? Well, he was near the outside, the away side hash. and he rifled that ball to Kittle, and it looked like Landon Collins had a beat on it. He was going to pick it. That ball went so fast behind Collins that he knew it. He knew that ball was by him. He had no chance.
That
throw was phenomenal.
But that throw didn't look phenomenal until they showed the replay from the other side.
That's what I'm saying.
He threw that ball so quickly. I was like, that's a stupid fucking pass. That should have been a pick. And they showed it again from the same angle. I was like, yo, we got
anywhere near it.
And then when they showed it from the other sideline, I was like, yo, he was nowhere near that ball. Like he got it through there so damn quick. Like that was a safe ass throw. Like
I think Kittle even got like a little thrown off by that.
Yeah.
Because he seen it
like he was like,
coming across. He was like, and then caught it.
Yeah, like, he's definitely got arm talent. He's got arm talent. I just think people don't recognize it yet. That's all.
And he's able to throw from different platforms.
Yep.
You saw it versus the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's got the arm talent, and people just don't recognize that's what he's putting on display. And so they feel like he doesn't have whatever it takes. But I do have a complaint about the quarterbacks in this system. And so I'm going to get to it since we're talking about Nick Mullens. And we saw it with Nick Mullens. So you guys think back to Brian Hoyer, right? And then Brian Hoyer came in last year and just we didn't get what we were looking for, right? Nothing consistent. Insert CJ Beathard. Think back to the first time you saw CJ Beathard play. It was that Redskins game, right? CJ Beathard gets hurt. I mean, Brian Hoyer gets hurt, or no, they pull him, and Kyle Shanahan calls the plays, and suddenly CJ Beathard is marching down the field. Boom, 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 boom. We score. We still lose the game, but all of a sudden it was like, yo, CJ Beathard looks like he might be able to move the ball, and all of a sudden it's done. CJ Beathard can't move the ball. And we watch the rest of his year until Jimmy Garoppolo gets put in after his injury. Jimmy Garoppolo comes in, and as soon as Jimmy Garoppolo gets in there in the game, it's drop back, boom. Everyone's like, look at how decisive he is. Boom. Look at his release. Look at how fast he's getting the ball out. Boom, boom, boom. And we saw that for the rest of the season. Start this season. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't look the same. Something's wrong with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's taking too many hits. He's taking too many sacks. Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured. Here comes CJ Beathard. He's taking too many hits. He's taking too many sacks. He's not reading the defenses fast enough. He looks off. He looks slow. Insert Nick Mullens. Nick Mullens comes in, and it's Mullens mania. Why? Because he's dropping back. Boom. Nick, how fast was his average release time? You said 2.465 seconds, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, we're praising him. He's getting rid of the ball quickly. Nick's words, and I quote, he kind of reminds me of Jimmy Garoppolo back there from some of the things he does.
Which he still does.
But this game, it was different. What was different about this game? He's dropping back, and then he's thinking. Every single quarterback in this system, when we're impressed with that quarterback, it's because they drop back and they throw. Kyle Shanahan gives them the play, and they know where I'm going to either one or number two. And as they're dropping back, they are making that decision. When they hit their back foot, they step into it. Boom. As soon as these quarterbacks, I don't care if it's Jimmy, I don't care if it's CJ, because we saw CJ do it in that Washington game. He came in, he was nervous. Kyle said, just run the plays I'm giving you. You're going to be okay. And he did it. And then he started thinking, and then he sucked. And then here comes Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, I only got a handful of plays out of the playbook. So what does he do? He's not thinking because he don't know enough to think. He's dropping back. He's deciding. He's delivering. Boom. Insert CJ Beathard again. Now he's thinking. I know more of the playbook than Jimmy Garoppolo does. He's thinking. He drops back. Boom. Sack fumble. Interception. Think about this, right? I saw something on Twitter tonight, and it says, none of our wide receivers are getting separation. Guess how many times I heard that during the Raiders game? Guess how many times I heard that during Jimmy's 5-game win streak last year? But as soon as these quarterbacks drop back and start thinking instead of throwing, it's the first thing you hear right away. None of our wide receivers can get separation. There's no speed. We need better wide receivers. We need better weapons. It's how Kyle Shanahan's offense is designed. You drop back, you decide, you deliver. And every single time these quarterbacks stop doing that, as soon as they start thinking a little bit more, that's when the rhythm of the entire offense is destroyed. And I saw that tonight. Nick Mullens wasn't holding on as long as C.J. Beathard, so he still delivered some passes. He still did some things, but you can see when Nick Mullens got to the end of his drop and he didn't throw the ball, you could see his brain go, like you could see it every time it happened. Every single time it happened tonight. He still completed passes, but then there are passes that you can tell there was a play to Marquise Goodwin running across the field where Goodwin put his hands out in front, but he had to turn back and catch the ball because it was behind him instead of him being able to continue running. You could see those things happening over and over tonight, and that's my complaint about this offense. It's not a complaint. Quarterbacks just got to go ahead and deliver, make a decision and deliver, man. And if they do that, they'll be good.
All right, so I agree with you to a point. This offense is definitely based off rhythm, right? But if that first read isn't open where the ball's supposed to go, that stalls the entire offense as well.
No.
Take both into consideration. You can't just take it on the quarterback.
They drop back with 2 reads. When they drop back, they do this and they do that. They're given 2 main reads, both of them. Like they drop back, and during the drop back is when they're deciding where they're going with the ball.
So you're telling me if that first read's not open, it doesn't stall the offense?
They are given 2 reads.
Yes, but they still have to go through those 2 reads.
Yeah, and they're doing it as they're dropping back. When they're doing their 5-step drop, by the time they hit that fifth step in that drop, they have looked at both of those.
They don't really do a 5-step drop in this offense.
What?
They don't really do a 5-step drop in this offense. It's usually a 3.
Okay.
They do 5s, Nick. They do 3 5s.
I don't know where you got that from.
They don't do that many 5s compared to 3s.
Okay.
Well, I will stick up for Nick on that because it's shotgun.
Yeah.
The original West Coast offense, Mike, was always under center. It wasn't shotgun. So that's where the 5 will come in and the 7 come in. So if he takes the snap in the shotgun, he's still doing a 5-step for the deep if he goes down the field.
Right. I'm talking about when he takes that snap from under center and he's dropping back, he's doing his 5-step drop.
Correct.
You're not doing a 3-step drop from under center like that.
No.
It depends. If it's a slant, it's only a 3-step drop.
Why the fuck are we arguing about this, bro? You're
arguing. You're not listening to what I'm trying to say. You're telling me that
it's just a random ass comment. I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit what you think. You're telling me they have 2 reads. I'm telling you that it isn't just the quarterback, that if the first read isn't open, it stalls the rest of the offense as well. You're not agreeing. I don't give a shit.
Then you go to the second read. That's how defenses work. If they can mess up your reads, then yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is when the quarterback,
there's only 2 reads in the offense.
Okay.
That's it.
Right.
You have an X, a Y, a Z, and checkdowns.
Yeah, and Colin Kaepernick had 4 or 5 receivers too. You think they didn't have just half field reads for Colin Kaepernick? What the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea?
We're talking about a quarterback.
Nothing to do with it, bro.
We're talking
about nothing to do with it. Yeah, you lined up 5 receivers. You're telling me that you expect quarterback to drop back and read all 5 receivers?
No. Do you
hear reads, man?
Do you hear how you're getting right now? I'm telling you.
Because I'm telling you a point, and you're deflecting and detracting and going in random ass places. It's not always a 5-step drop. Who gives a shit? I said when they get to their last stop, when they get to their last step in the drop, they've already made their 1 or 2 reads. They make a decision and throw the ball. That was my point. You want to tell me, well, sometimes it's 3 steps. Who gives a shit about that?
I'm not even talking about that anymore. I'm talking about the rhythm of the offense. If the read isn't open, that stalls your quarterback.
Yeah, and that's called good defense. And then you have to think about it. That's fine.
And what I'm saying is that he's overthinking. I don't totally agree with that. I think there's more to than him just overthinking. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean that it's stupid. This isn't just Mike's take. Jesus Christ. So, anyway. Tony.
Yes.
Why you dip off camera?
Because I'm laughing over here.
Well, because I'm just trying to say my point, and automatically when it's my point, it's bullshit.
Oh, listen. What he's trying to say is by the time he hits his last step, the ball's got to come out on his hitch step. That's it.
Exactly.
5 or 7.
Exactly. I'm not talking about 5 or 3 steps. I'm not talking about any of that. All I'm talking about is if the first read isn't open, it interrupts the entire offense rhythm.
Correct. No, I agree with you on that. But
That's what I'm trying to say. It's
what I notice when he does
thinking.
When he does when he does his pro style, he would have to make 2 legit reads, like a pro, like if he does like a weak set, twins weak, like where there's 2 receivers on this side, the fullback is to the twin side, and there's the tailback, and they usually do like a boot off that. He would have to do like maybe the receiver or then the check down to the fullback. But when he goes wide, like he does like 4 wide and he lines use check out all the way under, like as the last receiver on the line of scrimmage, Kyle's offense has like a lot of like level routes where he'll do like 5 yards and then cut in, and then the inside guy does 10 yards and then cut in. So right then and there, he's hitting his 2 reads on the same view of the field.
I completely understand that.
And so right then and there, what Mike's trying to say, when they're in that type of scenario, that's where the ball on the hitch, when he hitches on his step to throw, when he completes his drop, whatever step it is, he's going to decide right there whether it's high or low. You understand what I'm saying? Whether it's the 10-yard in or the 5-yard in with use check.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
No, I hear you.
I agree with what Mike is saying, as in there's parts of it of them overthinking, but there's also parts of it, if the read isn't open, it stalls the rhythm of the offense. Didn't we just all agree that Kyle Shanahan's offense is a rhythm-based offense?
Correct, because Kyle Shanahan runs the West Coast offense.
Exactly.
You go back.
You remember?
Go back and watch.
To tell me my take was dumb was retarded.
Go back. I said you interrupting me and bringing up random shit was dumb. That is fucking retarded. That had nothing to do with what I was talking about. My point is, if you go back and you watch last week, the reason why you thought Nick Mullens reminded you so much of Jimmy Garoppolo is because it was 1-2 reads and then the check down immediately. There was no thinking and going and rescanning the field, which is what you see him doing a lot today, which caused a lot of hesitation, which caused passes to be thrown off rhythm, which affects the yards after the catch and the effectiveness of the overall offense. You make your 2 reads, and then if it's not there, he was checking down right away. You don't average 2.465 seconds by making 3 or 4 reads. That time don't exist.
Never mind. I give up because you're not listening to a fucking word I say. So I'm not. Let's move on. Move on. Jesus Christ.
You got us. Go ahead. Move us on. I don't know what you want to talk about next. That was my point, but go ahead and move on.
Your point is that you're saying that I'm not saying that he's going through 4 reads. I'm not saying anything about 4 reads. You're telling me that I'm telling you that he has to go through 4 or 5 reads. You bring up the Colin Kaepernick idiot. Like, no, I said nothing about 4 or 5 reads. But if your first or second read is not there, it stalls the rest of the offense.
No, then you check it down. That's what he did effectively last week, Nick. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that you don't average a quick release like that from snap to throw. It's impossible to average a quick release like that if you're not doing 1-2 and then check down. This week we weren't seeing that. It was 1-2 and then maybe back to 1, or you could tell that the rhythm was affected. And my entire point was that in a Shanahan offense, no matter who his quarterback is, once they break that rhythm, the quarterbacks struggle a lot more. That's all my point was. That's it. That's all I was saying.
Okay. And all I was saying was it's not totally on the quarterback. It could be as well be on the receivers not getting open on the first or second read, which caused them to have to go to a check down or a third receiver. That's it.
Today he wasn't even doing the check down like that. And that was another issue that we were seeing.
And that's why you saw that, because he was waiting to try to get somebody else open to go
right
the field instead of checking down.
Right. If you look at the numbers for this week, hold on, I just had them pulled up here. You look at the numbers for this week, Breida had 3 catches and Juice had 2. It's probably fair to say that those were check downs, right?
No.
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 Huh? Breida didn't get nothing as a check down. He ran everything out of the outside.
Breida's 1 catch was the touchdown out of the inside of the bunch to the right.
Uh-huh.
And his second one was like an angle route, similar to what Barkley ran.
and maybe the third one was a dump.
All right. So how many checkdowns do you think that he had today?
I really don't know. Use check. I don't remember seeing use check. I think you two. If you said he has 2 catches, use check.
Yep.
Those 2 were probably definitely.
It was
dumped.
like 2 catches for like 3 yards or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
those are definitely checkdowns. The one, so he had 3 checkdowns.
And he missed.
Counting the bubbles? Are you counting the 2 screens to Pettis too?
I don't know, but my point is though, if you look at the numbers, like you have Breida last week for a check down for 3 yards, 1 catch for 3 yards. It's fair to say that's probably a check down, right?
Correct.
A short 3-yard gain there. You had two of them to Bourne for 6 yards in total, a long of 4. Mm-hmm. One of those is probably a check down. That's not something by design, right? You got Dwelly. Well, Dwelly had that one big play. That wasn't a check down. You had Juszczyk again with 2 catches. Like you saw more. If you look at the numbers of the passes, you can tell that there was more checkdowns incorporated in last week's to keep the rhythm of the offense going. We don't have the look we're going for. Get rid of the ball quickly and keep it moving.
Correct.
All I'm saying is
you're 100% right.
Yeah, and Nick, you're right. Like it's the defensive job. It's the defense's job to take away your first or second read. If they think they know where your reads are, you want to take it away and disrupt the timing of the offense. That's the point of a good defense. And what I'm saying is you can tell when it starts to affect a Shanahan quarterback. You can tell because it really affects the rest of the game, the rest of the outlook, how everybody is moving out there. And I can see it today. And Nick did some good things. He held on to the ball and he still made some plays happen. But you can tell that they weren't in stride and things like that the way they were last week. But other than that, you look at the players that are out there. It's our third string quarterback. Our leading running back is an undrafted guy. Our number 1 wide receiver is a reject from Buffalo. I don't think he's a reject. I'm just saying. Shanahan is working some magic. And to get the production that he's getting out of these guys, it's still pretty freaking incredible. I think we have the best coach, or at least offensive coordinator in the NFL. I really do. Can you imagine? What do you guys think if Shanahan was here with this schedule, but had the Cleveland Browns roster? What do you think our record would be?
Had the what? I didn't hear you.
The Cleveland Browns roster.
Better.
All 53, even the defense. Oh my God.
I say a lot better.
Nah.
You don't think so?
I wouldn't say a lot better.
Bro, you give Robert Saleh Myles Garrett, and don't they have no Chubb is the running back they have. They have there's another pass rush.
Everett.
Bro, both sides of the ball improve so much.
Jamie Collins is a linebacker. You got the rookie Ward.
Corner. I don't think we improved that much as receivers though.
You don't think so?
No, I mean they got Jarvis Landry, but he's not a true number 1 in my eyes, or a,
I'll give you that. I do think Landry is a little overrated.
Yeah, I think he's a little overrated.
Oh, and they got rid of Coleman too. We saw Coleman tonight, as a matter of fact.
Landry would be your possession guy, like the Garçons, and Callaway would be your speed guy, like what's his name?
Like Goodwin. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan Durant said that you were talking to him on Twitter and you misquoted him.
What I misquote?
It was about whatever you were talking about with hold on, let me find it again.
Was
Wait, people are in here saying Mullens reminds them of Blaine Gabbert. West Coast, I totally cannot agree with you on that.
Blaine Gabbert couldn't buy this kind of arm.
Gabbert, Jesus God. He couldn't in Chip Kelly's office. It was one read.
I love overreaction shows because like the fans are great. Like
I'll tell you what. Let me ask you.
Somebody said I challenge. I'll pay you guys if you guys arm wrestle and loser wears a Ram jersey next podcast. I can't. My arm's all fucked up.
Let me ask you guys a question. I noticed this on the what's that called? The press conference. And because I watched it on Twitter, it popped up, and you know how you get the comments on the bottom. What's that called? Periscope.
Mm-hmm.
Every other fucking thing. Sorry, every other thing was fire Kyle Shanahan. Could you please explain this to me?
Yeah, I can. Fans see L's piling up, and they think it's time for another regime change. And then when that happens, they're going to say Jed York is an idiot for changing coaches so much.
I don't know the logic behind that statement.
That's the only logic behind it, bro.
I can't. Fire Kyle Shanahan. He built a solid offensive line. He made your running game top 5 with an undrafted free agent. I just don't get it.
Yo, just so y'all know in here that me and Mike love each other. Because they're like, yo, the resentment in here. Slap hands and move on, brothers.
Yo, we're like this in person. Y'all and Nick will be over here like we're eating food the same way.
Yeah, it's all love. I'm trying to find where he said that about. He said you were having a conversation with him on Twitter about.
The only Dan. Oh, so maybe this is him. He said I put on Twitter that when the first couple of starts they got rid of the ball quickly. All right, so basically the same thing I said here, right? And then he said, yeah, I do see some of that, but to be fair, our wideouts have not gotten open with any consistency. And I said to that, no one said that last week. No one said that the last 5 games of the season for Jimmy last year. It's only said when the quarterback holds the ball too long. It's a rhythmic offense. When wide receivers break, the ball needs to be delivered. It's plenty of space at that moment. And he said, yeah, no one said it last week against the Raiders. No one besides Kittle getting open once again, inconsistent as always. But I didn't quote that last part. So I'm assuming that's what Dan's talking about. Let me see. If that's the same Dan, damn it, because now I do see mentions from another person named Niner Fan Dan. So maybe I might have just read the wrong one. I don't know. It's too many damn Dans out there.
You know, I wish Jimmy wasn't hurt because I really would have loved to see him behind this offensive line right now. 9 weeks, 10 weeks into the season, like, you know, playing together rather than week 1, week 2 when they never even played together. I would love to see how he would be playing. I really would.
Yeah, we didn't see any of we didn't see much of Jimmy this year, and I'm really curious to see if next season is year 1 again for Jimmy. We talk about the step up between the seasons for Shanahan's quarterbacks from year 1 to year 2. We were coin flipping on whether or not this year would be year 1 or year 2 for Jimmy. I think we all felt like it might have been year 1, right? Still. Yeah. So what do we get when Jimmy comes back after just 3 games?
I think we could all agree. I think we could all agree that his playbook for the last 5 games last year was very basic. It wasn't the full version of Kyle's offense. But
we'll have to see. Hey guys, pass interference, defense, number 35.
I'm taking a knee for Eric Reed, bro.
The motherfucker's haunting us, man.
I'm monkey dunking somebody next week and getting ejected again.
It was crazy, man. But I'll be honest with you guys, man. This game was fun. I wish the Niners would just spread out their scoring. Doesn't it seem like we kind of fall apart in the second half, like scoring offensively? Last week we did a good job. It was 17 points the first half, 17 points the second half. Felt good. I don't know about today. I got to look it up.
The fourth quarter we fall apart.
Yeah?
We scored right down the field. I mean, we took a lot of time off the clock in the third quarter, but we went right down the field. Scored.
Where's my box score right here? What do you go to? You go to stats? We finished the game with 10 penalties. Yeah. What the hell?
West Coast. Nobody's saying that Mullens is going to compete with Jimmy next year. Like, I hate when people say that shit. Like, I personally think that depending on how Nick continues to play this year, that there's definitely going to be a battle for for backup spot. I mean, I hope that he at least gets that chance. And they were arguing in here about trade value for Nick Mullens. Like, Nick Mullens nor C.J. Beathard have trade value. Neither one of them.
No.
So, I do think, though, from these two games, even though we won one and lost one, I still think Nick Mullens runs this offense better than C.J. Beathard does.
Well, look, and there's plenty of numbers to support that too. Even including the 2 interceptions today that were off of someone else's hands, Nick Mullens completing 69.3% of his passes. You understand how hard it is for Beathard to do that?
He's talking about what I said in the pregame show. I said in the pregame show that we can get out of Jimmy G's contract in 2 years, and that Nick Mullens could compete with him in 2 years if he's the backup quarterback. No. Right, Mike? Isn't that what I said?
Yeah. I tried to tell you not to say it.
2 years, I said, Nick Mullens could have the opportunity to compete against Jimmy Garoppolo because we have an out in his contract after 2 years where we can get out of that contract and not pay all that money.
Yeah, but he'll only be 29 years old.
Right, but I'm saying if he's not playing well, we have that out.
I mean, the scenario I could see is if he locks down the second string quarterback spot next year and he continues to progress, he wins a couple games this season going in and he produces, I could see a scenario where maybe when Jimmy hits 32 years old, they move on from Jimmy, and now you have a future sitting here.
The only reason I said 2 years was because we have an out in Jimmy's contract. If you go past those 2 years, we have no out. We're paying him full $137.5 million. 2 years, we can get away with paying him only like whatever his guaranteed was, 20 this year and 20 next year, I think.
No, his guarantee was a lot more this year.
I don't remember what his guarantee was this year.
His cap figure is $38 million this year.
He had some weird bonus in that thing.
They front loaded it because they have all the cap space. So next year his cap space is only like $25 million.
Yeah,
which is smart.
Yeah. No, but what I was trying to say earlier was that Nick Mullens could compete with Jimmy Garoppolo in 2 years, and the only reason I say that is because if he's the backup and we can get out of that big contract where Jimmy's not playing well, and Nick is. Or has the potential to play well. Not saying he's going to be our franchise quarterback. I don't want people to think that I'm saying I'm done with Jimmy Garoppolo because I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying you have to look at there is an opportunity there. If we need to cut that money and save that money to continue building this team, there is an out in 2 years.
It's the same thing like with Jet McKinnon.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They can get rid of him this year, the end of this year.
Same thing with Kaepernick.
Yeah. It was, which everybody said that would never happen.
Dude, that Parag is shrewd, bro.
That's what he does, man. We got a guest that we got to get on here. Let me get him on here really quick before we cut this show short. Thank you guys for checking us out, man. Nick, we can arm wrestle Lefty.
Nah, dude, I'd get destroyed. I might even get destroyed. Did you see that lazy ass tank top you had on today?
Yo, bro, stop talking junk about my tank top. Hater.
Sometimes.
All right. I'm sending the email now. We're going to get our guest on.
Mullens is West Coast. I never said Mullens. I said Mullens is better than CJ at this point right now, but I'd never said he's starting material yet.
I don't think Mullens or CJ Beathard are starters. No one said that.
No. And that's what I said, but I don't know what Mullens is going to be in 2 years. Nobody knows. All I said was that could be an option. And I'm not lying about that. Anything's an option.
Jimmy's a god.
You
seen him sitting in the press box?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he was getting pissed that he was on TV. Did you see him keep looking up at it? He was like, and then he smile.
You see his girl behind him or no?
No, somebody was like, which one of these is the porn star in here? And I was like, the one under the railing. Huh?
She was behind them.
Which one? The girlfriend that started all the shit?
The Kiara girl.
She was not there.
I'm fucking with you.
I didn't see it. I was gonna say there's no way.
You didn't see the hair bun on his wrist and then the hair pop up under the railing?
That's crazy.
I'm done with y'all, bro.
Crazy.
I'm done with y'all, man. Nick, get on here, bro.
Oh, Cork's coming on?
Yeah, he's supposed to be popping in here with us. So, fellas, man, let's take a look at the schedule going forward, right? The Giants don't have the best defense in the world, but we only managed to put up 23 points on them. It's safe to say that our easiest game of the year is come and gone. That was going to be the Raiders, right? Honestly, with all jokes aside, the Cardinals should have been the easiest game that we had, but that is also come and gone. So looking forward, we have the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Broncos, Seahawks again, the Bears, and the Rams. How many more wins we think we getting out of this, man? Let's do Tony, Nick, NB Niners, Nick, and then we'll do our guest.
I don't know.
You think we're gonna win another game this year?
I don't know. If the collapse continues in the fourth quarter, I don't know.
Bro, with or without the collapse, you think we're gonna put up more points than Ryan Fitzpatrick on this defense is? You think we can put up more points than Ryan Fitzpatrick in the Bucks? All right. So Tony said he doesn't know. Nick, go ahead. I see you want to say it.
I think we beat Tampa. Tampa is playing really bad football right now, too.
Bro,
I really think we can sneak a win there.
Yo, Fitzpatrick threw for over 400 yards last week or this week.
They got destroyed.
So what?
Their defense is shit, dude.
Bro.
Yeah, but so is ours.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying.
I think we can go pound for pound on offense with them.
Listen, I think we could score on anybody coming up on this schedule, but
bro, who's covering Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans?
Sherman will probably whoever's on the sides of the field.
Bro,
Sherman plays the left.
We're gonna get destroyed. All right, just Nick. You know what? People are gonna hate me.
I think we beat the Bucks and the Rams.
And because
the game means nothing.
The game means nothing. I think we get that win with the Rams and the Bucks.
We blew that load. McVay already came out and said, "I'm never doing that again."
Bro, they're gonna win the division in week 11.
No,
I think week 11, bro.
Mike, I agree with him because look what happened. Just happened to Cup. He just tore his ACL, so he's done.
Bro, they're not spending all that money to get players hurt in a game that is completely meaningless. You may not see their starters for like one quarter from week 11 on.
You honestly think that we win 2 more games? All jokes aside.
All jokes aside, I think we win at least 2 more games.
At least.
I think because I still think we can beat Seattle once. I'm not staying with a sweep.
All right. Okay. So Nick, the other Nick, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, pretty good, Mike. Pretty good. Well, all things being equal, getting up at 1 a.m. It's now 20 to 7 in the morning. Another loss. Another shitting refs. Bullshit pass interference calls. I just needed to get on and say that, yeah, I'm really pissed off. Really pissed off with that. I just can't believe, again, we play for 3 quarters, get to the 4th quarter, totally blow it. Same as the other week against the Packers, and as shitty as Eli has been, you knew he was going down that field and they were going to score. Whether it was a field goal or a TD, didn't matter. I sat there watching and I just knew it. And that really, excuse my language, but that really fucks me off. And I'm pissed.
Nicky Corky, baby, what's going on? Good morning to you. Wait to wake top of the fucking morning to you over there.
Crazy. Was that Dante Pettis in the background?
Oh man.
I'm sorry. No, because he's saying it, and I'm telling you, listen, man, you just ignore the Raiders game for 1 second, right? You got this game, you got the Cardinals, you got the Packers, you got the Chargers. No, the Cardinals again, then the Packers, then the Chargers. They all ended the same exact way. Every one of them, bro.
Collapsed.
Yes. The 4th quarter, this team is just like, all right, come and take me. I'm yours. Like we lay down for it. That that's a bad reference right now. I shouldn't have said it like that. But they give up. That's it. And it happens week in and week out. And I, for one, sit here like I know it's coming. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get angry. And today I was Mr. Laughing emoji because I was really sitting over here like, yeah, that's the Niners I know. That's the 49ers I know. And it's reasons like that is that causes people to say Kyle Shanahan should be fired because they see the same thing happening so much. They say that's on the coach. Listen, you ask why people are saying it, man. Like, I'm not saying that I think that. I don't think that. I literally just got them saying I think we have the best offensive-minded coach in the game. I mean that. I would be pissed if we fired Kyle Shanahan. But if you see the same thing happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over, you got to blame the coaching at some point, right? I'm the only one willing to step out on this limb?
No, I agree with you.
Not Kyle, Mike. I blame you-know-who.
I can't get rid of Kyle or John Lynch yet. I can't go with that. I could go with a coordinator. I could go with a strength and conditioning coach. I'm not going with Kyle or John yet. I can't get rid of those. They are the foundation to this right now. Like they said in the beginning when they were hired, this is going to take time. This isn't going to be overnight. And it is. Dude, did you see that percentage today? 82% turnover on our football team since John and Kyle took over. 82%.
But they're doing it the right way.
They are. They're doing it. They're doing it with young players. It's going to take time. I mean, guys, it'll eventually happen. I may be 80 by then, but it's eventually going to happen. We're going to win another bowl. Like, shit, I may be living over there in the UK over there with Nick Cork by then. Who knows? Living in London or something. But it's going to happen.
You getting ready for work over there, man?
By then, Nick.
What's that?
I said, by the time you're living over here in London with me, I'll be dead and in a box.
If the Niners ever played in London, though, I'm coming there.
Well, saying that, rumours I've seen that they could be in this next round or second round of games that are coming up because we got 4 this year or next year, sorry. So that's a possibility, Matt.
Yeah, I think that next year might be our year over there, guys. I really do. So, Nick, you getting ready for work over there?
Well, yes, as you can see by my wonderful attire, I'm just about to head out now. I can't be late for work as much as I'd love to chew the fat with you guys. So I'm going to head out now. And I know you haven't got my favourite drop there that you put on the podcast. But there is some goofball in a hat, and he's on the field. And above all else, stay faithful. I'll catch you later, guys. Take it easy. Have a good evening.
Thanks for popping in with us, man. I really appreciate that, man. All the way from across the pond, man, guys. That is love. That is what we do this for. God, man, it feels good to have people who truly desire starting this morning off with us. Who wants to do that shit? Like, come on, that's love. My wife barely want to talk to me in the morning. Like that's
he just started sipping on his coffee.
Yeah, man. Like that's really, really cool, man. That is awesome, man. I appreciate it. I really do. But with that being said, it's almost 2 a.m. over here. I have to take my ass to bed, guys. I got work in just a couple of hours myself. So
me too.
That's right, guys. You see the shirts, Birth of a Dynasty. See the numbers, recognize it. Tiny little jerseys. They even got the stripes on the sleeves. Did you put it up close to let them see the details on it? To see the stripes on the jerseys and everything, man. I'm gonna make your screen the big one here. And blurry. There we go. Look at that. The 3 stripes like they had during when this time when it was happening. Guys, we put a lot of work and effort into this. This is something that we've been working on for a really long time, actually. But
yeah, it's been about 5 months.
Yeah, at least. We were talking about this at the end of last year, but we didn't put anything on paper or anything like that. So I understand, but you see the back. We got to get some free advertisement, but
Yeah, so that is the birth of a dynasty. That is the Dwight Clark play. Jerseys are the numbers on the jerseys are actual positions and players that were in that position. And then obviously we got to have the 87 on the back for the catch.
And by the way, the research that we had to do to get the numbers for the jerseys, there's a reason that you're not going to see a lot of people doing that. Is because there's actually a lot of controversy over who was on the field during that play. Remember when we were looking up we looked up Wikipedia, then we had to actually watch the play over and over, and there's a controversy.
Like, he wasn't even on the field. It was Freddie Solomon out there.
Yep, we were going crazy trying to figure this out. We put a lot of work and effort into it, guys. So it's going to be one of three. This is going to be one of three in a series that we're going to do with these, and you guys will find out more of those. And then we're going to have a bunch of other ideas coming at you. I got to hide my strings from my daughter because when the baby sees the strings, I think she's reaching for me like, oh, Daddy, I want to play with you. And then when I get her close, she grabs the strings, and then my face starts shrinking. So,
yeah, guys, if anybody's interested, let us know. We'll be selling those, taking pre-orders for those, and they're going to be $40 plus shipping and handling. You can get it in a T-shirt or a hoodie, like we have the hoodies too, hoodies. And Pineapple, which hat are you talking about? The hat that's on right now, or Mike's hat, or Tony's hat?
I mean, this is hair. If you're talking about this is hair. It's not part of the hat. It didn't come with this. All right, I got a little puff going on down here. That's all me. All right.
Yeah, they're saying I want that hat. I don't know which hat it is. Your head does look like a like one of those hats where it has hair on top and you just put it like a visor.
Yeah. My coworker said she's this lady from Carolina.
She said Mike's hat. Yep, that's definitely not his hat. It's a visor. That's so funny.
Oh my God, that's funny as hell that someone thought this was a hat. He had to have known this was a visor, right? Does it really look like a hat right now?
No, it really does look like a hat. It looks like one of those hats where
it's like perfectly rounded on top. It's like,
oh, you guys are making me feel special about my little Afro puff here, man. This is going to be
Billy Blade.
Last time you guys see it puffed out, unless we do a video tomorrow.
Billy Blade said, "Do you guys regret giving away that damn Colbert jersey?" No, not at all.
No, when we do stuff for the fans, it's sincere. There's no regrets about it. We actually have a couple of fans. I still have a box full of stuff that I never mailed out for our trivia contestants. I finally got it. I dug it out from after me moving and everything, and I got to send all that out still. So when we do stuff for the fans, it's not. There's no regret involved in it at all or anything. We do it because we want to.
Yeah, Pineapple says, no, I know it was a visor, but then Mr. Coconut says, I thought it was a hat.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's going to be the last time you guys see the puff unless we do a video tomorrow, because Wednesday after work, the puff is gone.
Why, you cutting it off?
No, I'm going to go ahead and start my locks.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start putting locks in my hair, too, right here.
Tony, man.
You can call me your pro brother. I'll be your pro brother.
I said, any closing remarks or thoughts?
Nah, man. Just got the bye week coming up. Let's see how we bounce back after the bye week.
We got to do a couple of podcasts, guys. Guys, if you guys know Tony on Twitter, hit him up and tell him, get on the podcast with Mike. You guys got to stay on him, encourage him, all right? It's like NJ Niner fan, what is it, 449 or something like that?
499.
499. Damn it. I feel like I know it until I don't. But yeah, you guys get on them, tell them to jump on the podcast with us. You guys want to yell at me on Twitter, tell me I'm crazy, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I get it all day, every day. I love it still. Dan can tell you guys, we go back and forth, but Dan's my man still. 49ers Mike _NF. Nick, you want him to follow you on Twitter? Tell him who you are if you want, man.
Yeah, Mike, maybe we could do a guest next week on a podcast with one of us.
Yeah. Well, it's the bye week. We can do a full episode with a guest on a podcast. We can do the sound offline because we got the bye week also. We can hook up the phones again. I mean, we got a lot of time to play with. I'm all about fan interaction right now, so that's the mode that I'm in right now.
Dan Durant said, Closing thoughts. I'm going to jump a Keller Witherspoon tomorrow because I know he can't turn around.
Wow.
All right, guys. Look, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's 49er Faithful 365, 49ER Faithful 365. No S in there. You can follow our Facebook page, Nothing But Niners, as well as Instagram, Nothing But Niners. They're all spelled out. You can hit us up on Snapchat and Twitter at Nothing But 9ERS. And you can check out our Facebook or our website, nothingbutniners.com. And that's it for me.
Well, there's also the podcast. You guys got to check us out and subscribe to the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you leave us a good review, too. That's
Yeah.
on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcast, thinking about Dante Pettis right now, your podcast, Podcast Addict, whatever you listen to. So make sure you go over there, give us a good rating, give us a shout, give us a good holler.
That's right. We're done, man. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but above all else, stay faithful. We out.